Hello, and welcome. Welcome on into the Swear Word. I'm your host, Brandon Swear. And hey, this is a podcast for the chilihead community, by the chilihead community. Regardless of your spice tolerance, this is the place for you. Man, we have an amazing episode here tonight. We have 3 sauces on deck for Hot or Not, as well as an amazing guest locked and loaded in a very fun game. So let's go ahead and start episode number 82. What's going on, Swear Nation? So glad to have everyone here rocking and rolling. Man, whether you're tuning in on YouTube, Spotify, Rumble, or Apple Podcast, thank you so much for being here and making the show what it is. Continue to share this out with other like-minded chili heads. Tag some individuals that are curious about the world of spice and how they can fit into it, and really all the avenues and everything that's available out there for them. This is a great place to cover everything to do with the world of hot. So thank y'all so much for being a part of the show and making it amazing. As we get into this one here tonight, we have 3 sauces on deck. All of these are from Freaky Ferments right here in my hometown. So can't wait to dive into these, as well as we have a very special guest, Josh Sarver, locked and loaded to dive in. We're going to have some great conversations, as well as we have a very fun game planned. So let's go ahead and kick it on over to Hot or Not. Hey, welcome on into Hot or Not. We have 3 sauces here on deck tonight. For Hot or Not, we have all of these sauces coming from Freaky Ferments right here in Fort Worth, Texas. So we have Daily Driver, we have the Mango Pineapple Habanero, as well as the Seasonal Fire Melon. So I can't wait to dive into these. So what we'll do first is, if this is your first time checking out Hot or Not, first time checking out the podcast, definitely want to, go ahead and let those individuals know. I do things a little bit different here. I don't do a 1 out of 10. I do a 1 out of 5. That is really based off of 5 different categories. Those categories are heat, aroma, flavor, versatility, and burn. From that, add those up, average them out, and that gives us our total swear word rating. I also am against the idea of reading the ingredients ahead of time. I don't want that to really kind of play into what my brain is telling me that I'm tasting. It's a great way to let those taste buds do the exploration for me. So let's do this. Let's go ahead and we'll grab Daily Driver first. Give that one a good shake. As you can imagine, with a company name like Freaky Ferments, these sauces are definitely going to be fermented. So definitely you'll have a nice fermented taste to the overall sauce. But let's go ahead and talk about the color on this one. Nice bright red overall flow on this. Looks like it has a nice viscosity here, high flow rate. The second you get it even remotely tipped on its side, it starts to want to flow. So there is that one. Here we go as well. Perforated tear tab. But I'm going to go ahead and hit it with the knife as well. We will get this one opened up here. Give it another good shake, and we will crack into Daily Driver. Right off the bat, smells phenomenal. Fresh, slightly crisp. You're definitely picking up some of the fermented notes towards the overall aroma. You're getting a little subtle note of, sweetness coming from like the peppers is really what it's starting to smell like. Maybe some peppers, maybe some onions, but all in all, loving the aroma here. Very true to the name as far as Daily Driver. It gives me the same kind of feel and vibe as your everyday kind of table sauce, what you would see and expect to find. So looking forward to this. Let's go ahead and check it out. Nice pour here. Great color. Nice flow rate. Once again, tablespoon, and cheers. Absolutely phenomenal. Right off the bat, very silky smooth. Very creamy and inviting. You're getting a nice, what tastes like onion, maybe some garlic going on in this sauce. You're also picking up some kind of savory depth to it that kind of reminds me of, I don't know if that's, it could easily just be onions and bell peppers. But that overall body to it is really carrying forward. Tastes like maybe a little bit of citrus note going on, and definitely just a subtle kiss of pepper and heat towards the end. True to the name, Daily Driver, this sauce here rings true to be a sauce that you could use every day. You could find it on a table, you know, very common to what you would find other sauces sitting at a restaurant. This would be a very nice equivalent swap out to a craft version of those mass-produced sauces. So let's do this. I will go ahead and let's talk about the heat on that one. So for Daily Driver, very, very inviting. If you are just starting out, let's say this is your very first bottle of hot sauce, you're going to be able to crack it open, have a good time. And yes, you will notice some heat. Not going to really take you to take you to the cleaners by any stretch. You're going to be able to enjoy this sauce and have a great time doing it. Now, if you have been working on your own personal best, you're always pushing yourself to new limits. This is going to be a nice mild sauce for you. All in all, like I said, if you're pairing this up, say against, a comparison, compared to some of the other more commonly found, whether that be at your grocery stores or at your local restaurants, this is going to be a nicer play on a lot of those traditional sauces. It's going to have a lot more body. It's going to have about the same amount of heat as a lot of those that you would commonly find. So with that being said, like I said, mild on the burn. If you're constantly pushing yourself, if you're just starting out, you'll definitely notice it's hot. You'll definitely be able to still enjoy it and enjoy your food without really having to get burned up. So great entry sauce right here for you to be able to get used to hot sauce and really start to feel comfortable and figure out ways that you can incorporate it in your dish. Speaking of incorporating it in your dish, versatility-wise on this one here, I could see myself using this on burgers, sandwiches, pizzas, tacos, quesadillas. Kind of the list is endless on what you can do with it from a traditional dish standpoint. The only area I would not use this on would be in the realm of a dessert. I could even kind of see some use case for this as well being incorporated in, say, a spicy adult beverage. If you're looking for a hot sauce with some body, to say a Bloody Mary, and you're wanting to substitute something out, this would definitely work for that. Get a lot of that great flavors and bodies and pop to your overall sauce that you would be putting in a Bloody Mary anyways. So definitely see that. As far as the initial heat, like I said, it hits the gums, hits the front of the mouth, but it does kind of dwindle out relatively quick. The burn, while it does sit there and kind of roll out, it fades away rather quick. Very safe for those just starting out, but absolute flavor bomb if you are constantly pushing yourself. All right, so here we go. We have Daily Driver from Freaky Ferments. Heat coming in at 2.5, aroma of a 4, flavor of a 4.24, a versatility of a 4, and a burn of 2.5 for a total swear word rating of 3.45. There we go. Another amazing sauce. Once again, easy, quick substitute swap out for any of those commonly found staple sauces that you get at your local restaurants. So if you're in the supermarket, you see this. If you're here local in Texas area and you find Freaky Ferments, Daily Driver on the shelf, and maybe you pick up one of those others, I highly recommend checking this one out in lieu of grabbing the commonly found stuff. Definitely phenomenal if you're also starting out. But let's jump into the next sauce here. Grabbing the mango pineapple habanero. Give it a good shake. Once again, beautiful color on this sauce. It's kind of got, more of like what you would see Really, honestly, it is the color of the mixing of the bright yellow that comes from the pineapple to that more darkish orangish yellow that does come from the mangoes typically. So definitely see the overall body and color shining through on that one. From a visual standpoint as well, high flow, nice overall consistency on this sauce. It is as well perforated, but we're going to go ahead and slice and pull that out of the way. And we will get this one opened up here. Give it one good final shake. Oh, beautiful. Right off the bat. The mango and the pineapple are there. They're nice and subtle. You're also getting just a nice touch of the overall fermented smell coming through. Nothing overpowering by any stretch. It reminds me of a nice aroma-wise, one of those nice mango pineapple juices that you used to drink as a kid, or even my kids drink these days. So definitely digging that. Overall flow on that looks beautiful. Once again, nice big old tablespoon, and we will get this one rolling. It does open up aroma-wise on the spoon more so than from the bottle. You are able to pick up the mango, the pineapple, of course, but then now I'm getting almost what smells a little bit like almost like a roasted aroma to it. I don't know if I'm maybe just picking up something else. It smells like maybe some onion. Absolutely loving this. It sounds phenomenal. Here we go. Right off the bat. Silky, smooth, creamy, inviting. Then, as you're getting that, you're getting a little bit of the pineapple flavor, not as pronounced as I was expecting it based on the aroma. So very shockingly well done there. And really one of the main focal points that you're getting is a nice little savory note to this. And I can't really fully pinpoint what that is. It might be, there might be some overall onion going on in this one as well. But all in all, that habanero is perfectly balanced. You're getting all the bright flavor from that pepper coming forward. A little bit of the characteristics of the sting and it really kind of resonating. So the heat comes in, hits the front of the gums, hits the middle of the tongue and the roof of the mouth right in that same proximity, and really just kind of lashes out right there. As the burn kicks in and it kind of fades away. So heat I view as that first max 30-second window. Burn is everything that goes after. It's where it sits, how it sits, does it migrate, all the things above. So with that being said, the burn on this one does end up actually ramping up just a bit. So you're greeted initially from a heat standpoint. The heat window really gets probably cut about in half. So about 15 seconds in, you're not really picking up much heat-wise. You're getting a lot of the great flavors, the great body to this sauce. It pairs well. From what I can already see, I'm imagining this thing pairing very well with a lot of the dishes that are going on. So burgers, sandwiches. I could see this thing also being phenomenal for a marinade, for a glaze, for barbecues. I mean, it's kind of endless what you can do with this one here as well. So looking forward to that. And the overall transition, like I said, of the burn, it really ends up leaving the front of the mouth and just centralizes itself in that center portion of the mouth, the gums, your gums and your tongue and the roof of your mouth in that same proximity. Really kind of get it. And it does start to fade away, but as it does, it's just a slow tapering off. Very well executed on this sauce here. Let's go ahead and, you know what? I didn't read the ingredients for Daily Driver, and I also didn't read the ingredients, obviously, for the pineapple mango or the mango pineapple habanero. So we'll read off Daily Driver here, and then I will read off the other one. So for Daily Driver, ingredients are red bell pepper, onion, shallot, garlic, ghost pepper, Carolina Reaper peppers, salt, apple cider vinegar, and xanthan gum. So for daily driver to have, what is that? One, two, really two different heat sources on here, the Ghost and the Carolina Reaper. You know, the red bell pepper brings in a lot more of that flavor, that body, that overall savory notes. So definitely picking that up. But phenomenal job keeping that balance and keeping that ratio there to be able to have this as a daily sauce that's not really going to burn you down, but also packing in some ingredients that otherwise are pretty hot on their own. So phenomenal job nailing that one down. But let's read off some ingredients here for mango pineapple habanero from Freaky Ferments. Ingredients are pineapple, mango, habanero peppers, orange bell pepper, onion, garlic, salt, apple cider vinegar, and xanthan gum. Phenomenal job here. Once again, another list that is just very limited ingredients, very well executed, done right. And, you know, you're not getting any of that overly sweet. You're not getting that kind of sticky kind of feel that normally comes through on a lot of, you know, a heavy fruit-based hot sauces here, as to where this one is very well balanced. It does have a nice savory depth to it, and you're able to use this one without it really just making the dish, you know, sweet and overpowered. So phenomenal job. Great habanero flavor on this one here. Once again, that's the mango pineapple habanero. And now we will go ahead and read off some scores. All right, so here we go. We have the mango pineapple habanero from Freaky Ferments. We have heat coming in at a 3. We have aroma coming in at a 4.2, flavor of a 4.2, versatility of a 4, and burn of a 3.15 for a total swear word rating of 3.71. There we go. This one, once again, Freaky Ferments, the mango pineapple habanero, very well executed. If you're looking for a pineapple mango hot sauce that's not overpowering in the mango or the pineapple, and you're getting a great example of the overall flavor profiles of a habanero, this is the winning ticket for you. And definitely check this one out. I'll have the links for it down below. Let's check out Fire Melon from Freaky Ferments. All right, so let's check out Fire Melon from Freaky Ferments here. Give this one a good shake. Once again, phenomenal overall look on this sauce here. This is a limited release. It's not a, you know, common found every single minute of the day of the year. This is going to be a limited. I believe I ended up grabbing this one at North Texas Hot Sauce Fest. So been holding on to this one for a little bit, but glad to break into it here. We also have a perforated label. So for the cellophane, if you are keeping track of that, and one that is of importance, there you go. Now you know. Go ahead and use my knife, open it up, toss that to the side. One final good shake. Color-wise, between Daily Driver and Fire Melon, I would say color's pretty similar going on here. I would say Fire Melon might be, I don't know, Fire Melon might be just slightly darker. I was trying to compare the two, but there we go. Also, Fire Melon has a flow restrictor, no harm, no foul. Get that out of the way for the sake of the pour. Wow. Right off the bat, you're able to really pick up very strong the watermelon smell to this overall sauce. You're getting some pepper notes going on. A little bit of I can't tell if that's onion or garlic, but just a very phenomenal aroma here. You know, one that's very unique. Not a typical ingredient that you would find in a sauce, be any kind of melon in general, but with this one having a watermelon overall aroma, I bet you this one's going to be an amazing sauce, definitely for say those hotter days, the summers. Nice flow and consistency on this one here. Another good tablespoon, and Oh yeah, it definitely opens up on the spoon more so than in the bottle. From an aroma standpoint, loving this one. I'm already salivating just thinking about it. Getting a nice whiff, but here we go. Cheers. Mm. Man, right off the bat, before even talking about anything else, I'm going to tell you right now that right there is going to be phenomenal, mixed in with a lemonade, mixed in with a tea. Give your drink some life, some pop, some heat, and some amazing flavor. So flavor-wise, as you're walking through this, very almost like a cooling, refreshing initial taste to this overall sauce. A little bit of the fermented flavor coming through, a nice, very crisp taste of the overall melon that is in here. Loving that. You get a little bit of an onion note that goes on, and then just greeted with peppers. So, love the overall body on this one. The way that it came on heat-wise, it hit the front of the gums. I'm trying to think through. So, it hit the front of the gums, really started to resonate towards the middle of the tongue, and then starts to gravitate towards the back of the throat. Nothing too crazy. Overall, loving the way this sauce hits and burns, and it does build. Makes me think that this might have ghost in it. We will find out here shortly, but the way that it just continues to build and to go forward, that is very indicative of a ghost burn. Plus, the flavor's kind of there too. It's hard to fully pinpoint the overall heat source on this one, but phenomenal job here, being able to keep everything balanced, flavorful the whole way through. I'm still salivating like crazy thinking about this sauce and all the ways that I'm going to use it. I could see myself also using this on some pizza, some sandwiches, but this is also one just because of its brighter flavor and body. This is one I could see myself using in a salad dressing. I like to mix up my own stuff at home. So oftentimes I'll grab the different spices and blends that I'm thinking that I want to have in that salad dressing that day. And then I will mix in some hot sauce, and then I'll hit it with like some balsamic and so on, and just kind of craft a sauce for a salad that I think would be great. But man, that is going to be phenomenal for that, as well as if you're into those like cucumber tomato salads, that would be a phenomenal one to add to it, because it brings a lot of that fresh, crisp bite to the overall product, and then you get that nice crispy crunch from, say, the cucumbers. And yeah, that's going to be a home run for sure. But let's talk through the overall. If you're just starting out on this sauce and this was your first sauce to jump into, it might be a bit much for you. Moderation would be key. Definitely if you've kind of just got started and you're really starting to work things through and push yourself to the next steps, definitely still manageable. You'll be able to enjoy yourself. It definitely brings more heat than, say, the last two sauces. But all in all, absolutely amazing. No reason to walk past this one without grabbing it if you see it. And, if you are constantly pushing your own tolerances, you're working on your own personal best, this is going to be a nice medium sauce for you. You're going to really be able to enjoy it and have a great time doing so because, like I said, spicy drinks, that is definitely happening. Spicy salad dressings, I'm going to be using that one for sure. I could see myself even using this as a like a marinade or a glaze. So all in all, phenomenal, well done. And let's go ahead and read off some ingredients, actually. All right, so fire melon from Freaky Ferments. Ingredients are red bell peppers, watermelon. There we go, ghost pepper. And then we have Carolina Reaper pepper. Then we have onion, lime juice, shallot, garlic, salt, kombucha, and xanthan gum. Absolutely amazing. Also with the kombucha, the shallot, and that lime juice, that's that savory depth that's kind of going on. The kombucha is able to really bring everything together, make all that thing happen beautifully and harmoniously. Heat source wise makes sense why. That burn, the way it builds, and then also how it migrates towards the back of the throat ever so slightly. It's not overpowering. It's not really going to burn you down from, just hitting the back of the throat too hard. Also, nothing in the chest, nothing in the stomach. Just a beautiful sauce. Definitely, like I said, limited release. When you see this pop up, I highly recommend checking out Fire Melon from Freaky Ferments. All right, so here we go. Fire Melon from Freaky Ferments. We have heat coming in at 3.45. We have aroma of a 4, flavor of 4.11, versatility of 4.15, and a burn of 3.6 for a total swear word rating of 3.86. Man, another amazing sauce. Like I said, this one is a limited release. So when you find it, when you see it, highly recommend checking this one out. This is going to be a phenomenal sauce for those hotter months. As you're really outside, it's nice, crisp, refreshing. Also brings a great pop of flavor and heat towards everything you have going on. So all three of these sauces, I will have the direct links for those down below, as well as a link to the main site so you can check out the full Freaky Ferments lineup and, get everything really freaky naughty. So here we go. Let's go ahead and jump on over to the interview. Hey, Josh, how's it going?
Good. How you doing?
Man, I am doing good. So glad to have you here, really diving in and having on a fellow Cap Crew member here on the show. Always fun to, find out really what got you into the world of hot, and what was that moment that really made it to where you were like, I'm going to go do hardcore chili head things.
Well, for me, it was actually a buddy of mine from the army. He started making some hot sauce and he sent me some to try. And tried them. They were really good, but I was like, man, I think I could do better with these. And I was already growing peppers, but I wasn't really into them all that much. I liked some spice, but not a whole lot. But him introducing me to his batch of hot sauce really kind of set me down that path of growing and trying. And then I went to a hot sauce expo after that, and they were looking for one more person to get on the stage of doom. And I was like, you know what? Why not? And I went up there. I ate 3 Carolina Reaper jelly filled donuts, and I was completely miserable. But from that moment on, I was hooked.
Absolutely amazing. The donuts, did they have a flavor other than just the pepper flavor, or what was going on with those?
So they were very tasty. They were just a regular raspberry filled jelly donut, but then they put I don't know if they put a full Robbie or however they did it, but they put an extract inside the jelly filled donut, and then they sprinkled Carolina Reaper powder all over the top of it.
Oh, nice. Very nice. Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. I've done tincture in donuts before. That's always a blast. Definitely whenever they're filled like that. I think it's always blank on the name. Yeah, I think it's the Boston cream where it has like the chocolate frosting on top, but the cream
Yep.
filling. Oh man, or the Bavarian whatever. Those are
Oh,
those
the
are phen
Bavarian cream, yes.
Oh, those are phenomenal too to do that with. Something I try not to do often because I'm not big into sweets, but those are kind of a weak spot for me. That and there's man, like fudge. Fudge is like definitely one of those that is an absolute weakness of mine. If I see it there during Christmas and Thanksgiving, I have to like hide my eyes and walk the other way.
Got to keep that stuff out of sight, out of mind.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, well, that's very very cool to hear, and it's also great to have a fellow service member here on the show. I think a lot of the attributing factors, at least from those individuals that I've talked to, a lot of them didn't really have much of an exposure, I guess you could say, to heat until their time in the military. The commissary normally has the more common found stuff that you can get, and so on and so forth. Um, but it was that kind of similar as far as were you dabbling in spicy stuff really beforehand or?
To be honest, I like back then, even Tabasco was too hot for me. Like I would like put like a couple drops on my food just to say I did it, but like
Yeah.
I could not handle heat to save my life.
Man, that is it's always wild to hear and to find out like everyone's journey and path into the world of hot, right? You have all this wide array of things, but everyone's path is so amazing and beautiful and unique in its own right. And now you're out here doing like hardcore stuff, constantly pushing yourself. It's a wild turnaround and series of events. I guess how did you really start to work that tolerance up for all those that may be watching and listening and trying to figure out their own personal plan because maybe they want to start pushing themselves.
So for me, it was I started out with it was really kind of like a once a year I would go to the hot sauce festival. I would do the donut challenge. I've now done it 3 years in a row and started dabbling around with it. And then my buddy Marco, him and I did the C3 Skittle challenge and just kind of see how it was. And that completely destroyed me. And it wasn't until after that challenge actually that I got told about Cap Crew. And so I joined up Cap Crew and I'm watching everybody burn. And I was like, man, I have this tincture I made. I should do my first Robbie. And so I did my first Robbie and I went into complete panic mode. Most people still laugh at my first video. It was quite funny. Um, but then it was literally a couple days later, Alexandria did this blind challenge and I said I would play and I ended up having to go from my very first Robbie to a 28 mil tink chug or shot.
Yep.
And from that moment on, I mean, it was, I knew I could hang. Like I survived that hardcore push and everything like that. And it made me want to keep going harder and harder and harder. And once I did that big initial push, my tolerance skyrocketed. Like
Yep.
I mean, it's actually rather surprising to me how fast your tolerance can climb in cap. I mean, not just Cap Crew, but just with burning in general. Like how fast your body will adjust to being able to handle that level of heat.
Yeah, no, definitely. And no better person to blindly ask you. Well, I can think of some others that are also very, very very worthy of taking on any kind of blind challenge they throw. But Alexandria is also one of I believe, actually, yeah, the first person to get me some tincture. And it was also a challenge as well shortly after joining Cap Crew. And yeah, I don't remember exactly what she sent you to do for that chug, or I guess slam back, if you will, more
Mm-hmm.
so. But the initial thing was that I ended up jumping in with was Hellhammer from Nick Kemp's, and man, that was some fun times. Nice. I can't remember if the first one was a swish or not or what. I know shortly after that, then it jumped up to there was another challenge that came up, and I ended up holding and gurgling and all the other fun stuff. Hellhammer for a good while. Yeah, to that same point, that was kind of my first experience with tincture, and tincture is its own beast, as you well know.
Absolutely.
And dude, it was a eye opening experience, and now it's like one of my most preferred ways to burn, is
Same.
tincture. So very nice. Now, as far as you've been doing some like League of Fire challenges and things going on with that, what is that? I guess first and foremost, I'll get out in front of the question that's always asked. Which challenge have you partaken in that has absolutely just wrecked you the hardest or the
Oh
most
man.
memorable?
So there's a couple of them. None of them are, to be honest, are League of Fire. Well, I guess one is the one that I earned my world record card doing the today's adventure. That was a big goal of mine, was to come into this season, kind of come in like a wrecking ball, set some records, and get up there in points. But honestly, the most memorable challenge I've done so far would be low T no more. It was a challenge created by Brandon Wright and Fritz. It it was the hardest push for just doing drops onto a spoon and consuming it for 10 rounds. I mean, my hands, it was the first time I ever got cap cramps in my hands, or cap claw, whatever they want to call it. I mean, it I mean, I was in full out panic mode towards the end of it, and it was the hardest push that I've done in that aspect of really seeing what I can do.
Yeah, that's one that I did catch a lot of those videos, and it looked intense. It looked like a wild ride across the board. Man, that one was with what, cap crystals in it, I believe, right?
I think so. I never did really find out exactly what was in it, but whatever it is, it's brutal.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
I'm probably planning on doing it again here in a few, just
Okay.
just to get my tolerance back up, because I had to take a break for a little while.
Yeah, no, definitely makes sense. And that's also, like, I guess to speak on that note, that's the beauty of it is, as you get used to, increasing your spice tolerance, getting that confidence built up, right? It does also become slightly fun and entertaining as well to let that die back, because you already know what you're capable of. But then it's like you get to relive that come up journey and
Yep.
really experience it all again and have a fun time doing it. So no, that sounds like a lot of fun to jump back into and really break the ice. Now, all that to say as well, I know that you've been kind of doing some more experiments with the. It's not a dehydrator. What exactly is it? Or is it a dehydrator?
It's a freeze dryer.
Freeze dryer. There we go. I knew it was. I knew it
Yeah.
was one of the two. I just couldn't remember which one. So, dabbling in like apples and different fruits, or is it just solely apples at this moment?
For the challenge that I did, it was just the apples, but I have done some like taking Brandon Wright's Tomine powder and sprinkling it on some pineapple and freeze drying that for a nice snack. Taking some crew sauces and adding it to fruits and freeze drying it. Just kind of trying to find the flavors, but the apples are where I really set out to make a challenge.
Yeah, no, it's exciting. I still have mine sitting over here. I need to actually jump on and do it. I think I might end up doing a scorching and swearing episode for that one in particular, and probably a double cast, if you will, for crew members at the same time. But definitely looking forward to jumping in with that. Now, I guess on that note, because from a consumer standpoint, I kind of have my general idea and understanding. But since you've been kind of working in this area a little bit more, say, than I have, just trying to get a better understanding, what is the major, I guess, flavor / body differences that kind of carry forward from the freeze dryer versus, say, just dehydrating?
So I'm no expert in this one, but I have noticed that when you freeze or you dehydrate stuff compared to freeze drying, like the dehydrator seems to get more of a you don't get like a full dryness out of it. It doesn't. I feel like it lacks in a little bit of it removes some of the flavor, and it's more of a chewy consistency when you dehydrate, kind of like a jerky. But with the freeze dryer, it's pulling all of that water out, and it's, I mean, making it dry, crunchy. For some reason, some guys their apples just didn't store right, so they got a little soft on them. But they should stay crunchy and all of that. But the flavor, in my opinion, and from what I've been hearing from everybody else, is intensified when it comes to the freeze dryer. So you get with the challenge with the Granny's Revenge, it is a Granny Smith apple. So that tart bite that you get from the Granny Smith is almost 3 times stronger than what you would get us off that fresh apple.
Absolutely. That's the best part too, is like, so I love tart. I love the sours. Feeney was recently on the show, but now, and, speaking on that, he also was, talking about, a post that he had made in crew, regarding some potential upcoming stuff he's working on. And I
Hmm.
saw some of those sour notes coming through, and all I could think of was like, man, how amazing a spicy and sour tincture would be. Just a double whammy, your brain and your taste buds not sure what to do. To me, it sounds kind of like a panic mode for your brain to process.
Absolutely. It sounds like a fun ride, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's probably going to be somebody that does go the route of bottle dumping if that were to ever exist, and it would just be. I can only imagine the experience on the gut that would bring, all that tartness and everything coming through. Oh,
It would definitely be interesting to see how that goes. Because
yeah.
I mean, it is. It's like, how would your mind? Is your mind going to like focus on the heat, or is it going to focus on the sour? Because those are two different things that you don't really think about going together.
Yeah. And I mean, it could also work out in your benefit. You could, because your brain can only focus on one thing at a time, right? So it's like
Absolutely.
if the tartness and the sourness is more powering than the heat, then you're going to pick up on that, which then makes your brain think, oh, I can handle more of the heat. And then ultimately you kind of do yourself in because there's going to be a trade off tipping point. So
Well,
that would
eventually
be
the heat always wins.
yeah, yeah. I mean that's gonna be an interesting combo if that ever comes to be, or if anyone's watching and it's like I'm gonna try that. That would be a pretty fun experience. Oh, what we got going on there?
So I won't say the flavor on that, but
Okay,
it's hitting on the exact topic that we're talking about right now. Got the
very
tink,
nice.
got the and you know what? It doesn't really matter. This one is a warhead, like the candy warhead flavored tink.
Okay, very nice. Yeah, the I was thinking, the warhead flavor in general. Thinking through that actually before you mentioned that the warhead flavor is always one of those almost kind of like a rite of passage. It felt like, at least for a
Mm-hmm.
while, as a kid growing up, it was always who can have first and foremost who can handle the sourness of a warhead without really spitting it out or whatever, chewing it up real quick. And then it was like
Absolutely.
who can have the most, at one time and not show any signs of effects, right? Um, and to think of that, I mean, yeah, with it, using alcohol to extract out the capsaicin, anyways, the alcohol would also, in turn, should theoretically use up all of the warheads itself, so leaving you that amazing flavor.
And that's one more thing that having the freeze dryer gives me the advantage of is I can freeze dry these candies and turn them into a pow that allows me to mix them in more like a drink mix than so much. Now this one does have some like hard candy floating in there as well, kind of letting it dissolve on its own. But being able to freeze dry, and I will say they were way way more sour coming out of the freeze dryer than just fresh out of the pack.
Man. Well, and then to that point, so you can freeze dry you can freeze dry quite a few things. Now, whenever you used the freeze dryer for pods itself, and if so, how does that tend to break down more compared to like say just dehydrating them? Is it more
So
fine?
I will say I have freeze dried pods. Personally, I'm not a big fan. Now if you're just going to eat the pods, sure, but I would just rather eat them fresh because then it's like you get like instant powder. It's hard to breathe, but the flavor of the pepper is intensified crazy amounts. So I this year I did a test and I made a tank with just dehydrated pods and a tank with just freeze dried pods. And I personally do not like the flavor of the freeze dried.
Okay.
It's almost way too pepper forward for me. So now some people might really enjoy that, but for me, I'm like, whoa, like that's that. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's good and it's hot, but it's hard to flavor with it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that makes sense. Okay. Yeah, no, and then I mean that because that like popped in my head was using the freeze dryer, you're able to dry it out more. So in theory, like in my mind, I'm thinking this should also turn into a very fine powder a lot easier than, say, dehydrating. With dehydrator, you tend to get some of those snags where it doesn't fully crumble because it's not fully dry
Yep.
yet. And then you kind of get those little bits, which is great for certain scenarios. But, if you're just trying to get a real fine powder, I would think that would probably be one of the better avenues to go.
It definitely powders up very, very nicely. And it's the problem I had with it once it's powdered is as soon as you open the jar or whatever you're storing it in, that it just wants to absorb all the moisture in the air. Where
Mm,
I feel like you get a little bit better with the dehydrated pods in that aspect. And then when you're trying to make a tink with it, it really wants to clump and rehydrate.
ah,
And so it's weird. It's something I still need to work with. Like again, I just started freeze drying this last year, so it's still something I'm in the process of learning different tips and tricks.
yeah, no, definitely. I mean, it makes sense. And to be able to work through it and experiment and try all these things, it's a lot of fun to be able to do it, learn from it, know how you can execute things differently going forward. And I mean, that's a lot of the fun in the journey to it all. So,
Absolutely.
um, now, as far as anything upcoming push wise or challenge wise, I know you said you're going to potentially look at revisiting that low T no more. Do you have any other major plans that you have going on that, I mean, obviously, if there's something in the works that you don't want to talk about, that's fine too. But
No, that I can't. I need to do Pizza Extreme, which I'm pretty sure you're familiar with that one.
yep.
I hate POW challenges, so I've really been kind of tucking that one away. It's still back there. I know I need to do it, and I'm going to. But big push wise, I think the biggest thing I have is like Marco and I are getting ready to drop our board game. It ends tomorrow, and then we'll be sending them out. So we'll be playing the Goonies board game, and that's gonna be a push for everybody playing. There's a
Nice.
lot going on there.
Very nice. I'm looking forward to checking out those videos as those roll out. That's for sure. And yes, Pizza Extreme is phenomenal. I did that one. I just went to the local store that sold pizza by the slice, grabbed two, and went in there, no prep, and did my one slice, ate it all. Uh, Talked about it for a little bit, and then ate that other slice and went back to work, sipping on some coffee. And man, it was like I ate that at 11 and I didn't feel the actual gut punch of it all until about 5:40ish that day. And sitting there driving home, and all of a sudden it's like I feel my stomach just tighten up and then start expanding, and then the gut punch just keeps coming. And it was a wild ride for about 40 to 45 minutes from there, just having to really just calm myself and slow breathing to hold it
Yep.
all in. But man, oh, that's a fun one. It's
No, I'm
tasty.
I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I'm a little scared of it. I don't have no problems admitting that, but I mean, like any challenge, I'm going to take it on head first and see how it goes. I either complete it or I fail it. There's only two options.
Yeah, I think you'll be surprised at being able to handle the initial experience of the heat and the burn as it goes on. But it's that processing it through the body is where it
Hmm.
really comes back to get you. So always make sure. The only thing I would say is make sure that um, you don't really have anything planned for the next few hours after that that's like intensive by any means.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, now, as far as are you growing much as far as yourself, or how are you going about as far as getting pods and everything else?
Oh, so we germinated last week, or we planted last week, and we're probably at like 90% germination right now. We got 40 different varieties of peppers that we started, and so I generally have around between 100 and 120 pepper plants out in the garden. Um, and all of those pods will be going right into the dehydrator or the freeze dryer, however we decide. Or my wife's salsa; she loves making salsa, so.
Very nice. Yeah, no, that's super cool. So then you're not the only one having to really go through all the spicy products by yourself. You're having some fun, sharing some stuff here and there with the wife, I'm sure. How is her overall tolerance, and like where does she kind of tend to fluctuate around heat wise?
She, so she will tell you that she doesn't have a tolerance, but she walks through the hot sauce expo with me every single year, trying every single hot sauce, has no issues. She When she makes her salsas, just this last batch she made, she found a jar, she found a box and a jar of random pods in the fridge, and she came in there, she's like, "Hey, I used all these peppers," and I was like, "Those came from Feeney and Deathridge. Like, are you?" Like, do you realize what you just did? And to be honest, she made the absolute best salsa I have ever had. But about 6 chips in, and I'm sweating.
Yep.
And she'll eat the whole jar. So she'll tells me that she doesn't have a tolerance, but she's got a killer tolerance. She just doesn't want to go live and do things with me in that aspect of it. She's more behind, just her own
Yep.
things, but it only when it comes to salsa. She doesn't like hot sauce. She'll never try tincture, but salsa, she'll eat it all day, every day.
Yeah, I mean, hey, everyone's got their area that they like, and it sounds like she's comfortable eating the spicy foods as it is, and so more power to her. And to be able to make a salsa out of some Feeney and some Death Ridge pods, that's a pretty heavy hitting order there. So very cool,
Absolutely.
very cool. Well, let's do this. What we'll do here is we'll go ahead and jump in on over to the game.
Okay.
All right, so here we go. We have the 5. So if this is your first time checking out the 5, the way this goes is I'm going to show you 5 different images, one by one. And as you can see here on the left-hand side, you have numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, as far as how you rank these and the weight to these is completely up to you. So 1 could be the best or 5 could be the best. And let's say you started out with 1 being the best, and all of a sudden we get down the line, and all of a sudden you're like, actually, maybe I should have reorganized these. And you had 5 open, and you wanted to make now 5 be the highest ranking. You can always work it that way. So, with all that
Sounds
said,
good.
here we go. Let's pull up the first one. So, we have vegetable tacos.
Oh, I'm gonna put that at a 5.
Yeah, gotta make sure everyone gets a nice little representation going on here. And then this is just to represent ground beef for tacos.
Let's put ground beef at 3.
At a 3. All right, I like it. And then we will go with pulled pork.
Ooh, that's got to go at number 2.
Number 2. All right, I like it. If that's number 2, I'm curious to now know what number 1 is whenever we get done with this. Boom. This is pulled chicken, not to be mistaken with the last one.
I'll put that at 4.
4? All right.
So I'm going to shoot myself in the foot with the veggie tacos here in a second.
Yeah. Well, I think you might have made a smart move because the last one is shredded beef. So this was
that's
brisket
number
in
1
general.
right there.
Yep. Brisket
I like that order
tacos.
right there. That's pretty good.
All right. Well, that kind of answers that. I was going to say, is there any that you would have changed the pecking order on this one?
For me, if I switched anything, it'd have probably been the pulled pork and the chicken. I would go with pulled chicken over pulled pork.
Okay.
But I like both options.
All right. I like it. I like it.
We don't eat that much pork in this house.
Got it. Okay. Fair enough. Easy to understand. Let's go ahead and run it back for another round. Same game, different items. All right.
Awesome.
So here we go. Now, what I'll do is we'll start with, well, why not? Serranos up
Mm,
first.
I put those at 4.
4. All right. Fair enough. 4 it is. And then let's go with ghost peppers.
Oh man, out of all peppers, I got to put that at number 1. I love ghost peppers.
All right.
Um, they're really some of my favorites.
Great body, great burn. It's one of those burn characteristics that you can really just keep adding and always leaving yourself kind of at a same heat level the whole way through if you know how to time it
Absolutely.
right. So, all right. Up next, we have this is just to represent Thai chilies in general.
Let's go number 5.
Number 5. All right. Do you not care for the flavor? What is it on Thai chilies?
It's the flavor on them. I've never really been a big fan of them.
All right.
I mean, I like the heat that they have and stuff, but to me, I've always got like a metallic taste off of eating Thai chilies.
Interesting. All right. All right. Fair enough. Let's go with this one. Here we go. Habaneros. Tried and true.
Um, ooh, I like habaneros too. Let's go with 3 with those.
All right. I think that was a
Love
smart.
habaneros because they're such a versatile pepper.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. But I think that was a smart choice because up last we have the primo pepper.
Yeah, that would be number 2 for me.
Very, very solid, well played game here. If I had to choose the lineup, I think this is pretty spot on. Although it is very hard with those last 3, really distinguishing how I would actually break those down. But yeah, I think a very fun and very fair lineup going on here. Definitely enjoyable. What did you think of the overall game?
It's awesome. You don't know what's coming up next. You're like, oh man, should I put this here? But yeah, the way the pepper one fell out was if I had all 5, if I was looking at them, that's probably exactly how I would have listed them too.
Very nice. Okay. All right. All right.
I
Well,
mean, it is a toss up between Ghost and Primo being number 1 or 2, but again, Ghosts are my favorite pepper. Like I love Ghost peppers. They're that one that you get the burn from it, but they have some of the best flavor in my opinion.
yeah, no, very solid flavoring. And, it's kind of a very small few percentages wise of the crowd, it feels like, that are not Team Ghost Pepper, which is always fine. Like everyone's got their own personal preference, but
Mm-hmm.
definitely can see where that would be, how that plays out. So, yeah, no, definitely. All right. Well, the nugget of knowledge is upon us. This one will gear towards those individuals. You kind of hit it on it a little bit earlier, but the individuals that are out there, wanting to really break into growing their own tolerance or, pushing themselves to that next level.
Oh, for me, it's just do what you can, and little bits at a time. But also, don't be scared to just send it. The worst thing that's you'll get through it. That's the one thing I've noticed throughout all of this is no matter what I do, no matter how bad it hurts, it only lasts for a little bit, and then I'm eager to do it again.
Absolutely. And it's so the very true words, and it's so easy to jump in head first, be over your head in the heat, and just realize that you are going to come out on the other side of that perfectly fine. Don't let the mental and physical panic kind of weigh in. Just stand strong and know that you're fine. So, very well said. Now, as far as the hot seat nomination, this is someone that you think would make a great guest for the show.
Ooh, there's so many. Obviously, you've had some of my favorites on already with B Dub and Feeney. Um, I mean, I don't know. I think Pastor Bruce could be a fun one to have on. I really always like him. Another Dean. Dean would be a big one for me. That he is a monster burner. He's awesome to talk with. So, but man, there's just so many people. You could almost just cherry pick a name out of Cap Crew, and you would get an interesting conversation and almost a wealth of knowledge.
Yep. Very well said. Well, what I'll do is I will reach out to Pastor Bruce. We'll find a time to have him on the show. Dean has, we have something planned to have Dean back on and maybe do a nice little panel. So look forward
Nice.
to have him on for some shenanigans. But Pastor Bruce, I look forward to finding a time that works to have you on the podcast. Absolutely great nomination there. Phenomenal person. And able to really make some amazing products as well. So, the only other thing is, do you have anything else you want to let those that are watching and listening know, or where they can, keep up with you?
I mean, I'm on. I have a YouTube channel, but I just post my League of Fire challenges and stuff on it. I just kind of keep to myself, or I just keep to Cap Crew. That's the best place to find me is in Cap Crew.
All right. Well, Josh, thank you so much for coming on. It's been an absolute blast. There's still so much more we can dive into. And of course, once again, as I had just hinted to, I do have a nice panel session, a brewing, if you will. And we'll have some shenanigans going on very soon. Would love to have you on. Definitely whenever we get ready to do all that.
Absolutely, and I appreciate you having me. This is a lot of fun, and just love being a part of this community.
Josh, thank you so much for coming on. It was an absolute pleasure having you on here, learning about your journey into the world of hot, all the fun that you've had, the challenges, the pushes, all the experiences that have gone on. If you enjoyed the products here on Hot or Not, I will have, once again, the direct links for those down below, so you can check out all the Freaky Ferments lineup, as well as the direct links to the products discussed here tonight. And hey, if you once again, continue to share this out with other like-minded chili heads. We're continuing to grow the show here. So anyone that might be even curious about the world of hot, this is a great place for them to figure out everything to do with up-and-coming hobbyists that are just crushing it in the game, all the way to the legends. So thank y'all so much for being a part of that. Don't forget, new episodes drop every Tuesday and Thursday night. I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors, podvision.io. If you're looking to grow your brand, start your brand, you've hit a bump in the road and you're trying to figure things out, highly recommend checking out podvision.io for all your needs, as well as webdx.one. If you are looking for a new site, you got an old site, you need some updates, and you've just kind of fallen behind on that, highly recommend checking out webdx.one for all your needs, as well as small or medium-sized business and really elevating it from an automation standpoint. So episode 82 is in the books. I'm Brandon Swear, and from everything from the world of hot, this has been The Swear Word.